since he wore purple all the time, could we legally call him the Grapist?
That's why everyone going with the Mephisto theories. I was like,
Constantly, that's just the
That's
entirety
fine.
of his miniseries, looking for his shit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the happy 616th Marvel family. Today is our official and first cheat day
Woo!
because we're adulters.
Yes! Aha! It's all
So
in the open now.
today, yeah. So today we are going to be doing a little show and tell of characters that are not related or owned by the rights of Marvel. Everybody's gonna get their turn to talk about someone that they like or dislike, whoever. Just get a little break from Marvel because we understand that we are a Marvel podcast, but sometimes you just need a taste of something a little different,
Exactly.
I mean, nobody else has to know. It could just be our little secret.
Yeah.
Keep it
Just
between
keep
us.
it between us, yeah.
Yeah.
But
No,
don't
yeah.
tell anybody while we're sharing this deal.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is very, very secretive stuff, alright?
Don't tell anybody because I know where you live.
Oh god.
I am going to pull up a wheel, and as I'm doing that, everybody, we need to introduce ourselves again because I keep forgetting to do that. For I am the Funny Hatter, and the person figuratively right next to me, onto my right, is...
All I am Victor, aka the X-Man, here to present the non-Marvel characters that I know of.
Oh yes, and I'm Christopher, hello.
And this is our 5th episode. If you just tuned in, hopefully you'll check out their episodes. Everything else besides today is Marvel, and to where we just talk about Marvel, whatever. Yeah. If you can't tell, I'm stalling right now because
As the wheel decides.
as the wheel decides, because some things just take time. You just have to let things take its course.
Exactly.
As the wheel continuously spins as I set it up to find out who's going to go first and present something that's not Marvel related. Oh, look at that! It's me, everyone.
Oh my goodness, whoa!
I know what you're thinking, rigged, but well, sometimes you just gotta take what life gives you.
Yeah,
okay?
it just
even if
happens
even if it's rigged, that's how you succeed in life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good wife lesson.
Good life lesson.
Indeed.
Write that one down. Save it.
Fix it in post. Anyway, so the character that is not related to Marvel, as far as I know, being in any crossovers or anything, I would like to present Spawn, and which I've heard from Christopher. He doesn't really know much about Spawn, so it's a good thing we're going to talk about it today because now you're going to get a little crash course into Spawn.
Yes, I know that his name starts with an S, so I guess that's a pretty good start.
No,
that is an integral
that-
part when it comes
is
to
it.
characters. No, I
Yeah,
know
the
that.
first letter is always the most important one, as they say.
Oh, I thought you meant like his real name. I was gonna say that's incorrect.
His real name is S, yes.
The name he was given when he was just birthed was just S.
S.
It was
I
destined
will
from that
complete
day.
it eventually.
It just takes
He
some
goes
time.
he has to go to hell just to finish the name.
It's all worth it in the end, though.
You were once S. You are now Spawn.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to
Just
that moment in
adds
the movie.
Pawn to his name.
Pawn.
Foreshadow.
I was a pawn this entire time?
What a twist!
I think this
So-
one is like partially Marvel though through Angela, but yeah.
Well, I mean, the funny thing about Spawn is that Spawn was created by Todd McFarlane,
Oh,
who actually used to be an artist for Marvel. He used to draw like all the characters. like for the comic books. I don't think he was a writer for them, but I do know he drew them because if you look at Spawn, he has a very, very strikingly similar look to the Prowler from Spider-Man.
That's true.
Because
yeah.
the Prowler, especially if you've seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the Prowler is in purple. He's got a cloak with like those long collars. He's wearing purple, and he's got like the weird Nightwing looking area that's covering his eyes, and he's got white eyes. Spawn is all decked out in black. The Nightwing looking areas around his face are white, and it's pretty much the Prowler if he was just in black. And also, I mean, like the suit itself is kind of like Venom, too, because like it moves on its own, but it also moves at like his command.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm talking about Venom from the comics, not the whiny little bitch from the movies. That
it's pretty
only
cool
needs to
too.
eat
I'm sorry.
brains.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool because Todd also did help create Venom too. I'm sure that he probably worked on the design and stuff, which is really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to check more into that later, but what I do know is that Spawn was created by Todd McFarlane after he broke off from Marvel because he wanted to do his own thing. So the origins of Spawn, let's get into it. Al Simmons, depending on the interpretation, from the one that I recognize, was a man who went into the military. He did quite a few bad things. Okay, actually, no. We need to start. Fuck, I'm telling this all wrong.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
So where we begin is that, for most stories, is that there's this guy who wakes up in this Prowler-looking suit that's all black, and he can like do stuff. The cape moves at his will, and like he can like move these chains from his body. His name is Al Simmons, and he finds out that he is now a general for Hell's army. And the reason being is because he died when he was out of country being a soldier, and he made a deal with the devil. And the devil's name in this interpretation is Malbolgia, and they have like a pretty interesting look. It looks like something that a kid would draw, because they're like all very slender and skinny, like all the demons, especially like the devil. Like they're all skinny, they're slender, and they have like long pointy teeth and like two horns like coming from like their cheeks, and like a big one coming down. So it kind of looks like an alien mixed with like stereotypical looking demons. Anyway, that's besides the point. The point is, he makes a deal with the devil. He says, all right, I'll let you go back to Earth and see your wife, but you gotta be my general for my armies. And Al is like, without question, he's like, okay. So he gets sent to Earth, and he purposely doesn't have his memories back because like there's like a whole thing to where like Malbolgia makes it so to where he has to like find himself again and like choose to like be the general of Hell's army. So while he's on Earth, he's basically just supposed to like collect souls and kill as many bad people as he can, so they'll go to Hell and join the army. And to do this, to make sure he's kept in check, there's a this fat clown. And here's the funny part. So the clown, his name is the Violator. The Violator is not the Vibrator. I checked. They say it in the movie.
I was laughing about the Violator name more than that.
Oh, honestly.
That actually is pretty funny.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. So he's a clown. He's not a really good-looking clown. Like, he's supposed to look all dirty, and he's supposed to look fat and ugly, and he's always got like a creepy grin on his face. But the thing is, there's no reason why he's a clown, especially if he's supposed to like fit in up on Earth. It's like if like Thor went to Earth and if he was trying to hide in public, and he just decided to get in like a gown, like for no reason, like from Asgard. Like he probably like went through his mom's closet and put on like one of her gowns or something like that, and just because he's silly, because he's supposed to like help, or if like Loki was like sent to protect him or like watch over him, and like Loki decided to wear the gown instead. It's like it just seems so out of place because he's such a creepy looking guy. Like what? How is this hiding? How is this not drawing attention to yourself? Especially if you're trying to kill as many bad people as you can, or get somebody to do it. Anyway, I'm proning on. So, the basis of the story is he's General of Hell now. He's on Earth. He's supposed to be retrieving bad people for the armies of Hell, so they can rise up, take Earth, and also take Heaven too. So now Spawn has to like figure out like what does it mean to be a hero? Why is it bad? I mean, to just kill, murder people, but also like where does he actually want to go? How does he want to use they call it like it's not a scabbard. They call the suit something. But anyway, like how he has to figure out what kind of man he wants to be now in his afterlife. Like, does he actually want to do good? Or does he just not care and just want to kill like just bad people? Because the thing is, like, especially one of the things that got me into Spawn was the HBO cartoon.
Oh,
that was
yeah,
on there.
I heard about that.
I really like
That's how I know the character.
Yeah.
Keith
Oh, well,
David,
there you go.
as Spawn.
Yeah, Keith David is Spawn for me. Like, I do not accept
Oh,
anybody
man, I
else
love Keith
being
David.
Spawn. But yeah, in the show, I'm like, from what I understand, apparently a lot of people didn't like it all that much. But I also heard that a lot of the other comic books for Spawn isn't all that great anyway. The only thing I've heard that was like really great with Spawn was actually recently like King Spawn. Like it beat like both Marvel and DC when they're trying to be all political, and like Spawn's like, I'm the king of heaven and hell.
Deal with it.
They're like, yay, fantasy, not politics. But the thing is, in the show, like, I think they do like a really good job of detailing. Actually, I mean, kind of if you look into it. So he's like killing bad guys like at random, like if he's like motivated enough to do it. But every time he does it, he doesn't realize that he's sending those bad people to hell. And then like someone has to come over. It's like, hey, the more people you kill, the more you're helping Malbolgia, and you don't want to help Malbolgia, do you? It's like,
Oh no, I don't care. Just let me hold my gun.
but yeah, like, and one of the features of Spawn is that in the comic books, I do know this, that like every other panel they will have like a power level of it's like almost like a countdown. Like the more power he used, like do you guys remember the Santa Claus 2?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you've seen the Santa Claus 2, Santa, Tim Allen, he's got a watch, and the watch tells him like 100 to 0, and if the arrow goes all the way to 0, you won't have any magic to come back to the North Pole. So you gotta use your magic wisely. So
This whole thing of the crux of why you couldn't get back and all that.
yeah, but in
Yeah.
this case, if Spawn uses all of his power from the suit itself, like all the magic that it produces for him, he will be sent back to hell, and then he has to like start doing like he has to start being a slave for Malbolgia. So like that's one of the reasons why he has guns a lot. Like because if you look at it, like I said, like the suit acts kind of like Venom. Like the cape moves kind of like tendrils or like arms or whatever. And he'll also have chains that definitely act like tendrils. And he can do as many times as he wants, as long as it doesn't like the quote unquote timer doesn't run out. So like he's definitely an anti-hero. He's definitely a character that uses what he can to his advantage. Like he's not afraid of using weapons. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty. He just does like whatever he needs to do to get whatever conflicts in his way. Be it like killing like a whole bunch of like gangsters, or saving like a couple of kids on the street. He's not afraid to just go all out just to win. That's why I really like Spawn. I need to read more of the comic books, definitely. But I did finish the HBO show, and I did enjoy it, and was very upset where they left it off because it was on. It wasn't an. It didn't seem like an intentional cliffhanger. It seemed like, there's still more of the story we have to tell, but they kind of just dropped it at the third season. Okay, we're done. He's like,
That's all.
What? What about this? And what about that? We just started seeing angels coming down from heaven. Why aren't they killing Spawn? Why aren't they fighting him? I thought he was supposed to be the bad guy. Like, no,
too
you're done.
many cartoons have that tragic end.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't as bad as Dexter season 8, but we're getting that fixed. That's being fixed in post right now.
Oh, exactly.
So I proned on long enough. What are your guys' thoughts on Spawn?
Oh man, he sounds pretty cool. I don't know too much, but the talk of like the suit power stuff kind of reminded me, if you've ever played with Ultimate Spider-Man, the video game, where there's like the Venom missions and you have to like keep your like health bar up by like eating stuff. So that was pretty cool. It kind of reminded me of that. But man, I gotta check out Spawn. Yeah, I gotta see the animated series as well as maybe the movie, perhaps. I don't know how good the movie is, but there's the new movie coming out eventually. Oh, maybe not the old movie then. Maybe just the new movie when that comes out.
Okay. I mean, from what I did hear, I'm not sure if it's true. It's just rumor, but from what I heard, because I think Spawn is Dark Horse. I'm not sure if he's owned like by Dark Horse.
Yeah, but I believe he is. Like, Dark Horse and Marvel, they have a very weird relationship.
Me too.
It's especially like, yeah, it's so weird. But the rumor is that they want to combine Spawn with Hellboy, which I don't really see that working unless they like do a multiverse route to where like Spawn ends up like in Hellboy's Earth or vice versa, and then like maybe like they cross hells and then you see like the difference between Hellboy's hell and then Spawn's hell. But considering that they tanked like with the last Hellboy movies, like I don't think they have the creative integrity to try to pull off something like that. That or they're just too lazy. But, the thing is about there was a Spawn movie in the late 90s, I want to say.
I think so.
I
And
think that was when,
it did not do well. The least to say, it did not do well. Like, I remember seeing like a good majority of it, but I never got around to actually finishing it. And some of the aesthetic and like some of like the setting is pretty cool, but John Leguizamo, he's in it and he plays the Violator, and he hams it up, which I'm glad he does. But there are just moments where he just goes way too far. It's like it seemed like the director was like too scared to like tell him to stop or to tone it down because
you gotta strike that balance, you know.
Yeah.
With your camp. But I definitely seem interested. I actually, this is the first time I knew why he even wielded guns. I just thought he did that because he thought he looked cool.
He's like Venom, but cooler.
He's got guns, guys.
He's got guns. He's Spider-Man.
I just saw the redundancies there of just like the powers of hell. Why are you like shooting people?
Yeah. No, I think Todd McFarlane was just thinking, he's like, you know what, fuck it, let's just put in some guns. He's like, well, how are we gonna do that? He's like Venom from hell. He's like, weakness. Okay, that works.
There we go.
Just give him a power level. That works.
Yeah.
He'll run out of it. But that's what I do like the incorporation. But like with the movie, going back on that, like John Leguizamo goes way too far into it at times. So where John Leguizamo hams it up, and it's a strength mostly for him. Martin Sheen is one of the main antagonists, and he hams his performance up to way too much, to where it's like a weakness, because it seems like almost like a villain of the week. He's like from what I remember, like an evil businessman, and he's like basically, the cops will never know that I am hiding a bioweapon or I'm hiding a nuke. Ah, ha, 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 ha. I kid you not, he does something like that. It's just so dumb. But the animation was terrible back then.
Oh,
But
Yeah, CGI for the cape mainly is what I heard.
oh no.
it was bad.
Oh.
And especially in the effects of hell, like all the demons, especially on Bullshit, he just
no.
he doesn't look like. It seems like they attempted to make him look like what he does in the comics, but he comes off as almost like a hairless chihuahua, like a really big, skinny hairless chihuahua.
The most terrifying of enemies.
Most terrifying of all, yeah.
Yeah, it's Spawn's greatest enemy.
Looking forward to that in the new movie.
I know, right? If you've never heard of Spawn before, I recommend you go check it out. Yeah, check him out. We got HBO Max, all 3 seasons. The cartoon are on there. I don't.
Canadian, they don't provide that for me.
Oh no!
Oh,
I guess you'll just have to move to England,
I guess so.
easy enough.
or just illegally like cross into Alaska. It's like, I'm not going to those northern states. I'll just pretend that
Those
I'm there.
common Alaskan Spawn fans.
Oh yes, of course. Big fans up there.
They're hiding. You just gotta look for them. But yeah, definitely check out the comics, especially the new one, King Spawn. I heard that's pretty great. I'm looking for it for myself.
Mhm.
And I think that's enough time for show and tell on me. I already went like almost 20 minutes.
That was some good stuff though. I feel like I learned a lot.
Yeah. All right, we're going back to the wheel, and this time we got. Why is okay? Hold on. Let's get rid of my name, and it's a flip of a coin right here. Christopher or Victor? Who's it gonna be? It's the X-Man.
Yes.
Alright. Okay, I thought long and hard about this, but I think I decided it before our Shang-Chi review, actually. And my choice for this one is Sandman.
Oh.
Oh, from like as in Morpheus, Dream.
Yes.
I
From,
love
Vertigo.
DC Vertigo. I love that. I recently just got done with like the second audiobook like 2 weeks ago.
I have not finished the second one. I have done the first one so far. But yeah, definitely I'm very impressed, and also seen dipped my toes into the expanded bits of Vertigo lore. Big fan of the Lucifer TV show, which is of course based around a lot of his work on the character there. So as you notice, there's a bit of a hell theme extending.
For the hell
Watch,
of it.
Christopher's gonna go with Hellboy.
Dang it.
But yeah, with Morpheus, his adventures are particularly grand. Like, I suppose I should start from the beginning there, but that would be really hard to do considering that the beginning is long before even human history.
So we want to go to the beginning, but we want to go to the real beginning. But then, in the real beginning, we have to even go farther into the beginning of time and night.
And the very concepts of the world, because Morpheus is the one that keeps track of, well, dreams, as his name goes, Lord of Dreams. But most importantly, the land of stories. And as an insomniac, I really definitely appreciated Sandman and what it offered.
ironic.
And mostly, to scare me into sleeping, right?
Yes. Go to sleep.
And
Uh,
as an example, let's start from the way the story begins, which is with Roderick Burgess, a story of this man and his own secret society that is there to kidnap death itself as a concept. because yes, death exists in the Vertigo / DC universe as a teenage girl, and was attempted to be kidnapped, but instead made a worse mistake. Society ended up kidnapping Lord Morpheus himself.
Yeah, for the viewer. By the way, it was an accident. So they were trying to get they did the ritual, but they somehow ended up with Dream instead of Death.
Whoops. It's one of those things that happens sometimes.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, it happened to me yesterday.
You summon one of your friends or someone that you know or that you're looking for, and you get someone completely different.
Ah.
I cut my hand for nothing.
Dang.
Udric urges wastes his time when he could have just kidnapped Death.
What? Like, I was like, oh no, we kidnapped Dream, not Death. Like, somebody else would go like, why would you do that?
And keep in mind, I also saw the audiobook version of the story, narrated by Neil Gaiman and voiced by Charles Xavier himself, James McAvoy.
Oh, really? Hey.
As
How did you
Morpheus.
see that?
Yeah, I just dig deep for it. That's why I only have volume 1. I can't find volume 2.
Oh, man.
That was an obscure find and a lucky one at that. But yeah, with the Sandman, it's a story that takes its hold across the whole world, across time, and space and dimensions, and even across the whole DC universe as well. There's numerous DC characters, some classics like Martian Manhunter, and of course the mischievous warlock himself, John Constantine, favorite of mine.
John Constantine. It's Constantine. Really, I don't care.
Yeah. Who? Recently their live action counterparts. Well, not Morpheus, but because he's still coming out, played by Tom Sturridge on Netflix later. I think next year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be next year.
And with Tom Ellis as Lucifer and Matt Ryan's John Constantine, they have teamed up before.
Yeah, but they're getting for the Sandman. For Netflix, they actually got Gwendolyn Christie to play Lucifer.
Yeah, it's happened. They released a promo pic recently on that one. Looks pretty cool. With Lucifer, I got into that one first because again, I'm intermediate when it comes to my comic books. Mostly it's the TV stuff than the comics, pretty much. I enjoyed his performance as the sympathetic devil, and the Dreamer sort of ties that together, kind of like Nick Fury with the Avengers, with the rest of this large, expansive world, the DC universe, but also to the rest of Vertigo as a whole. To the point where, franchise is completely unrelated to both of them, being Lock and Key, a separate franchise of mystery stories involving mystical keys, crossed over into the Sandman's adventures, them going to the Burgess estate in the Lock and Key books. So that is interesting. It sort of expands to all these different mediums in a way. The sky's the limit with the Sandman. Yeah, with the actual story itself, I'm going off topic there with all the expansions. Morpheus is trapped by Burgess, and because he's no longer in his realm and is trapped here, just waiting for his escape, which basically just means waiting until the coffee runs out in the Burgess mansion.
You telling us absolutely everything?
Not exactly. We're also out of coffee.
Have to wait long enough for that. Yeah, essentially, in that time, tons of people sleep at random intervals, and it's a complete horror show in both directions throughout the books of having too little sleep and having too much. In the end, of course, the Sandman escapes because if he could be held by iron bars, he wouldn't be much of a superhero, would he?
Yeah, really.
Let alone the literal concept of dreams itself. And so he leaves, of course, in our present, because this was like around like the 1800s, I believe. And so now closer to our present. The Sandman has to basically retrieve these items that have made him all powerful. So he starts at an intermediate level, basically just being this naked dude in a cage, and with some influence over his surroundings of dreams and wakefulness, to this all-powerful being that encompasses a realm of stories. And later on, he encounters different DC players and figures in the Vertigo world to essentially help him along in his quest, such as Lucifer Morningstar. Which, just like the show, is more of an anti-hero, as comedic. You can definitely tell that it's not supposed to be a straightforward story that, the devil is the bad guy and that's it. But more that he has his own motives in play for doing what he does, and it aids to him having his own diverging plot from the story. The Sandman, and he holds on to more of this hope and somewhat goodness, but also somewhat, if you mess with my stuff, I will break you. And which he does, of course, to the successor of the Burges, which is his successors down the line, his future descendants. And it shows the deadliness, and but he is not the evil of the story. As an anti-hero, really, because he's a concept. He's neutral to the order of things. With stories. So Burgess, with Burgess dealt with, the Sandman, of course, needs to get together all the stuff, and he nearly does, running into the John Constantine and Martian Manhunter. But the final item on his list runs into the DC villain John D, or John Deegan. I don't know why they call him John D. They're shortening this. It's a bit weird.
Especially when he already has a supervillain name being like Dr. Destiny, even though it has nothing to do with Destiny because he messes with your dreams.
Yeah, like he's more of like a human antithesis to Morpheus, in a way. It's this crazy guy. Which also ties the book to Arkham Asylum, Batman, and the Joker. So that's definitely very mainstream with the DC universe.
Yeah, really.
So Morpheus, challenges this guy to his power and his deadliness of using this great strength to basically rule the world, and use this kind of entitlement and complex created by his mother, basically accepting his evil actions over the years to basically do whatever he wants. This power over people's minds, the sickening ways. It's almost like a horror book in a way, but it definitely plays on imaginations and fantasies in crazy ways.
That's the thing with Neil Gaiman. Like, he gets into areas to where it's like his stories have a little bit of everything. There's comedy, there's drama, especially horror aspects, but it's like he does his best to make you feel like a whole bunch of random emotions, but somehow most of the time seems to be consistent with it, because he has a very big imagination.
And evidenced by playing with these concepts more than characters, really. And definitely shows a lot of ways. Sometimes I feel he's purposely messing with the audience in terms of the audio.
Probably so, yeah.
How he presents that one. Like he's just grinning while I'm currently like having my spot in a cold sweat, like just like secretly enjoying it. Yeah, with the story and especially with his narration, like it's definitely complete of all the players involved. Yeah, with that and the music and the sense of power behind it. Of course, the Sandman beats John Deegan, aka Dr. Destiny, as he reaches his final form in the Dream Realm, which is portrayed in quite an interesting way.
I'm glad you spoiled the story for the people who've never heard of the Sandman before.
The Sandman wins it. Sorry, everybody. Damn.
The end. No more story.
No.
The Sandman wins. Well, there's more to it, but yeah, I haven't read all of it yet. I think I've read one opening to Volume 2, which is pretty good. Introduced Kat Dennings' death.
Oh my god, I hate her.
I mean, she does better here than as Darcy Lewis, but then again, that's not saying much.
Well, not just I don't know how she's an actor. Like she basically plays like the same character in every single project that she's in.
Yeah. I feel this one's a bit different considering that, yeah, the dialogue is, word for word from the book, so,
Yeah, but there's like things like when she plays Death, like Death is supposed to be very sympathetic, she's very compassionate, she's very understanding, and like she's always looking to help people to move on when she collects them because they died, right? But in it, like the way she reads it, it almost sounds like almost like she's annoyed, or like she just does the things she does in like every project she does, be it like Thor or Two Broke Girls in that apartment, to where she just sounds annoyed with almost everything. Because there's like a part in the Sandman to where like Death is walking with her and she's doing her job collecting people who died and help them move on. A comedian is on stage and she ends up killing herself by accident because there's an exposed wire on some water and she gets electrocuted. And she's like, and she's processing that she just died. And he's like, oh my god, did I just... Oh wait, no, it wasn't that one. Like, it was a baby. The baby, like, was, like, born, like, a few days ago, but it just dies, like, for no reason. And then the baby asks, like, is that all I get? And she's like, I'm afraid so, honey. It's time to go now.
I think this is, compared to her other roles with other cast members, I feel like this one is her most sympathetic point in...
I couldn't tell!
Yeah. Or
She
think
sounds so
it's because
bored.
of the dialogue, like, rather than the actress. I think.
No,
We're
she
also
was a
getting a
better...
new one with this like Netflix thing, though.
A good actor will be able to use what they are given with and deliver it to where they need to be delivered. She doesn't do that. She doesn't even sound like she's trying.
Also a kind of weird choice because like every other choice that has been there was like I checked all their IMDb's. They were like previously connected to Neil Gaiman roles.
And she just shows up, just hey, how's it going?
I know how that happened. That's sort of like the one outlier that Neil Gaiman did not work with.
Who's popular right now? That one girl from Two Broke Girls.
Get her.
Okay. Yeah, the blonde one? No, the goth-looking one. Okay. I mean, she looks the part, but people are going to be listening to it. She looks the part. Put her in there.
But yeah, getting off topic there. With Dr. Destiny's defeat, of course, this allows audience to see the Sandman's full power. Which transitions to his power set, just like with Lucifer's control over hell and the underworld. The Sandman is able to control all of our stories, all dreams itself, and it's potentially unlimited power. Like once he literally just goes into a story of someone's life, someone's weird dream, just eats their food in the background of their dream. Just
Very casual.
I remember that because the description of that was like he's hopping through dreams and he just escapes, and there's like a guy who shows up at a party where you're supposed to dress up, but he like dresses up as a clown when everybody's like all in nice suits, and he's like he's experiencing like his greatest humiliation in all of his life, and then Morpheus is just in the back like this like chalk
I just
white
imagine
naked man in the back just
if
eating
that was the
sandwiches.
case in one of your dreams, just like while you're reliving an embarrassing moment from your life, a naked ill guy with crazy hair just hops on in and just starts eating food in like your memories and then leaves.
Oh,
Oh.
okay, that happened. Back to the humiliation.
Yeah, you just kind of had to deal with it from there.
Can you imagine that? Just being like you're sobbing, or you're feeling such shame, and then just a chalk white man just. Hi. Just, what do you want?
But yeah, like there's that feat, so he can like make his own clothes and basically just like dream KO people just like instantly. For life, essentially, they're trapped in there. It's quite dark, but you know, kind of gives it to a lot of people who kind of deserved it and like got their comeuppance and all that. Like I said, he's a very neutral figure. He's not really like an anti-hero that's going like to different extremes or whatever. Like some goal of serving one thing is leading the universe to its natural order of things. Like even at the end of the story, once he beats Dr. Destiny, and you know the story ends and like you know he's all good. He just saved the dream realm and got all of his stuff back, and then just like casually talks to the Scarecrow again, DC connection, and John Deegan. Just like they're just casual buds. Just,
Hey there, Deegan's like, hi, Dr. Crane. Yeah, I really like in the end, like after that's all wrapped up, like he's just sitting in a bench and he's like, well, now what?
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do, and that was kind of peculiar to me, considering that Volume 1 literally just transitions to Volume 2, and yeah, I only got the opening for that one, because yeah, it just seems kind of peculiar to me that the story just goes on from there.
Yeah,
and, even after that epic battle.
Yeah, because like the audiobook, it does a weird thing. So I'm pretty sure it's not all like one big book, because there's a bunch of stories with the Sandman that like that don't really seem like they connect. It's more like short stories. Like after like the main story is finished, it almost seems like a side quest, like that they're, or like just a different story that involves the Sandman, like or Morpheus. Like, for example, the main story is done to where he beats Dr. Destiny, and then they transition into, like, a little while later to where, like, there's this guy who's, like, in England, like, in, like, the 1600s, and he's, like, saying that death is overrated. So what Death does is, like, she, like, basically makes him immortal until he wants to die, and he lives until, like, all the way up to, like, the 2000s, just having a conversation with Morpheus every 100 years. And it doesn't really connect to the main story, besides the fact that like one decade he has a certain perspective of things, and then the next decade he sees them and he's like, I'm kind of a changed man. And that's the moral of the story.
It's a very disconnected book, but I kind of understand in the perspective of you're developing this universe, and the Sandman is sort of the center of all of it, because while everyone dreams,
Yeah.
everyone does go to sleep eventually. Of all species, the new gods of Apocalypse, which also appear in this thing, to the Martian Manhunter himself. and like all these figures, all these larger than life characters, they all dream things. They are all connected with the Sandman in such intricate ways, despite him being the most generic Tim Burton soul in terms of appearance. At times. Like
Yeah, that's what I thought too when I first saw him, and I was like doing some research as I'm listening to the audiobook. It's like, oh, so, okay, what does he look like? Like in the description, it looks like almost like a self-insert of Neil Gaiman if he met Tim Burton and had one of the makeup artists like do his makeup.
They just pulled like a total
yeah.
Saiyan merge between them both.
Exactly. Oh.
Gaiman and Burton unite. Yeah, like and with that story, like well, I definitely like appreciated Lucifer more at first because yeah, he's very charismatic character. You know, he's blonde, so he's got the appearance thing better on. And you know, he's got the epic speeches as well. Some of which were copied from like to the show that was adapted. Yeah, I think that part is very very interesting. But the Sandman, he brings to the table in this universe
Yeah.
is that he's this figure just sort of drifting between worlds and time. But it is not really built on having a no nonsense view of them, but more sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he kind of is this concept and thus relates to all connected with this concept, and that is interesting. It's definitely the best way of doing a living concept story, and yeah, imagine anyone but Neil Gaiman doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great point with the Sandman, is like putting a concept into like human form almost, and that's and one of the details you can tell like how he does that is like giving like all of the endless, and by the way, the endless is like the people that make up destiny, dream, death, desire, despair, destruction, and delirium. So it's all D's because he's creative. The thing is that they all are the epitome of their name, and the way that he does that is what I think is like kind of genius is that he just makes them pale white, and not just pale white; they're like chalk white, like because they seem familiar to us because we understand what they are, but they aren't on our level, and there's like later on, like when the third act comes out, I'm more than certain that they're going to start talking about Destruction, because Destruction, they don't really talk about him a lot because he purposely left his position and now he's mortal and he's basically like a lumberjack. He doesn't have his power anymore, even though he still chops down trees, but he's basically human now, but they aren't. And you can tell the difference between them and Destruction, because he's just like a regular red-headed looking guy versus pale chalk white people with black hair and nothing else.
So that's the thing too. He doesn't always have that one appearance. To different characters, he sort of mirrors their own perspective on such the nature of dreams.
Yeah, that's what it seems like to me. Is like the Neil Gaiman and Tim Burton looking thing. That seems more like the default if you don't know who Dream is or know who Morpheus is, because in the book, Martian Manhunter instantly recognizes him because the Martian used to tell stories of Dream, and so they have their own perspective of what he looks like. But like to like John Constantine or Dr. Destiny, they aren't aware of who Dream is, so they more likely see him as the default Neil Gaiman, Tim Burton crossover, but everybody else will more likely have like their own perspective, especially like his sibling desire that Neil Gaiman describes as he, she, or them, because everybody definitely has their own perspective of what they desire. And I think that's absolutely genius.
Yeah, that is.
It's very much the most impressive part, this concept of identity and how it presents itself through these characters. But yeah, that's enough from me and the world with the Sandman.
Yeah, that was some good stuff. You went into some nice detail there. I haven't actually like really read or really have been exposed to much of that. Just familiar with it, of course, familiar with the writer. But yeah, I gotta check that stuff out. It sounds amazing.
Yeah, check that out when you can, because once I started listening, I instantly fell in love with it.
Oh man, love it.
It's so imaginative. It's so creative. I just love it.
Yes.
It's all around.
I'm impressed.
So we're getting close. That quickly? Wow, he's got.
I'm already a fan. I'm getting the T-shirt, I'm getting the merchandise already.
The Sandman merch.
He pre-ordered the Netflix series already.
I did. I got the receipt right here, actually.
Pre-order a Netflix series.
Like you do. Yes.
So we're coming up on the hour mark. However, since Christopher hasn't described what he likes as his non-Marvel character, we're gonna tag on 30 minutes if that's good with you guys to give him a good explanation.
Dude.
All right.
Because we don't know how to shorten or the length of our descriptions because we all failed school. It's English class. Nobody passed.
Nobody did.
True.
The fact I'm speaking the language fluently enough that's a mystery. I don't know how I did that.
Man, same honestly. What's going on?
Right, just to throw people off their game.
How am I speaking English? I don't know.
You
Go
tell
ask
me.
my teacher. Yeah, you tell me. Am I even speaking English? What is English? Okay, so Christopher, please tell us who your character of the day is.
Oh boy, alright, so I've got a very specific one. It's a very well-known character. I feel like everyone might hate me for this. And will question me as the head writer of a lot of these projects that I like this. But, alright, so, alright, of course, all of you have dove into some really interesting characters that are fairly popular, but are also, on the fringe of, like, being super popular, but also maybe a little more lesser known, that you can find fans for them, but it's not like if you go up to someone and ask them like, oh hey, have you seen Spawn or something, or Red Spawn, that's it seems less likely that they perhaps know, which I think is really cool, bringing lights to these characters that you other people may have not known. And then there's me. I'm gonna talk about Batman. And I
No.
No, Batman.
Batman!
Like the Bateman.
Oh man.
Jason Batman.
Jason Batman, one of my favorite actors.
Jason Batman.
Da, 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 da.
So I've got. Here we go. Are you ready?
Okay.
Batman Forever. Yes.
Batman Forever.
Batman
That's what we're
Forever.
doing.
I was
Specifically that version of Batman.
yes.
No
this,
other Batman.
This Batman. Yes, none of the other ones. I was thinking of either bringing up Long Halloween, the comic / the animated movies now, and other stuff too. Like, I could talk about Scott Pilgrim maybe. It's like no. Batman Forever.
Just fucking Batman.
Exactly. So I've got to say that I watched this a bunch as a kid, but I don't feel like my love of it is just strictly from nostalgia, but just from just how different it is. Like, it sort of brings back that campy Batman that we're trying to get away from, especially with like Frank Miller's Batman Year One. It's like, all right, Batman is actually serious. Come on. So we don't really see too many like super campy movies these days in terms of like superhero movies. They're pretty grounded. They take themselves seriously. They crack jokes, of course, but they, for the most part, their tone is very serious. Like, say, Guardians of the Galaxy, very funny, but also has like probably like some of the darkest moments in the MCU. Like, starting off with Peter Quill's mom dying. Like, Jesus. So most superhero movies are fairly serious and more grounded, jokes and stuff. Except for, Venom, I feel like is sort of calling back to that campiness that we see in the 90s, which I think is pretty fun. But that's what I love about this. It really doesn't take itself super seriously. Like, it's pretty over the top sometimes. Like, there's the guy that's inside of the tube that Two-Face, he pulls out the vault and there's like acid in the vault. He's like, oh no, boiling acid! It's going. It's hilarious.
I believe the line
Oh,
was,
no!
"It's raining acid."
Hey, those are my glasses. Thanks. Or no, hearing. I think he says hearing aid, not glasses. But yeah, so it's very over the top and just very fun, and just the style of it. Really, the style just takes over. It's got like this very neon look to it, this very vibrant look that we don't see in Tim Burton's Gotham. That his Gotham is more gothic, I guess, more sort of comic booky, whereas Joel Schumacher's is very like bright and vibrant and just almost even maybe a little obnoxious, but I think it's fun. And
I think it definitely suits that world. Like, it's very much a Batman Beyond Gotham.
yeah, oh exactly, yeah, that's a good point. That's sort of like Neo sort of look to it, Neo neon, I don't know, neon, yeah, I guess is a better word for it, look, and it's very goofy, very silly. We've got the over-the-top performance of Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, and of course Jim Carrey as Riddler, classic. Hilarious.
He is such a hypocrite. Did you hear about that?
I have, yeah. It's, man.
So for the audience, if you haven't heard this, so the thing was on the set of Batman Forever was that Jim Carrey as the Riddler and Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face were the main antagonists. Now, Jim Carrey, being Jim Carrey, is like very rehearsed in the movie, and he's very obnoxious on purpose. But Tommy Lee Jones just could not stand him whatsoever. And in the movie, Tommy Lee Jones, I'm not sure why he took it. Maybe it was like for kids or something like that. But he doesn't act anywhere like near Harvey Dent or Harvey Dent becoming Two-Face. He just acts like Jack Nicholson being the Joker. But the thing was, like, he finally told, and you can find this like on any like YouTube channel because Jim Carrey's talked about this so many times, and it's like he's basically like Deku about this, like with and Tommy Lee Jones's Bakugo, but he's like he's such a great guy. But he came up to me one day, and he's like, I hate you. I really don't like you. I cannot sanction your buffoonery. And, like, how is he acting in the movie? He's, like, jumping up and down. He's, like, cackling all the time whenever he shoots a gun. He's, like, what a hypocrite.
That is very true. Yeah, he's just doing the same thing. Of course, Jim Carrey's very well, he practices and just really gets it down to, like, a exact formula. But yeah, it's funny just, like, hearing that. It's like, man, you're doing the same thing. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're doing it, but worse. How can you say that? How can you have the audacity to say that when you have a professional comedian who's like doing exactly what the director wants him to do, and then you're performing under him?
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He probably just didn't like the spotlight being taken away.
It's like, I'm the star of this movie.
No, your fucking place, trash.
Oh man,
It's Two-Face forever.
yes. Oh.
You almost made me spit out my water.
But yeah, the style is very over the top. But even still, the movie does have its more grounded moments. That there's some extended cuts or extended scenes that didn't make it into the movie. That Joel Schumacher was happy with the what he got from the movie, but there's still some things that got cut that sort of explored Bruce's psyche and like what's going on in there more deeply, and you can still see it throughout the original cut of the movie too. Like that, even though it's very silly and just very fun movie, there's still some deeper sides to that, to like exploring Bruce as Bruce Wayne and Batman, especially like the closing finale, or not the finale, but like the final showdown, where Dr. Chase Meridian is captured and Robin is captured too, and he's like, oh, you gotta choose, who do you save, the girl of your dreams or your sidekick and stuff, and he's like, he's both, he has to save both of them. Kind of like with Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2002, where he's like, we are who we choose to be, now choose, so basically that's same thing. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Like, even though it is, like I said, a very, very silly and very fun movie, it does have its deeper themes to it too. That I feel like the other two Batman movies don't explore too much. Like Bruce Wayne is Batman. You don't really see like too much of his character a lot in those movies. It's more of him stopping the villains, which I love too. I think it's great. But he's dealing with like the aftermath of that. You know, it's kind of confusing if they are connected or not, since we do have the same Alfred and the same Commissioner Gordon. But there's not really any connecting tissue besides that, really. So it's always
Gordon is Jammy Jams.
Yes. God, he's just so useful or so useless in those movies. Like, every
It's
single
so-
time.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Poor
looking
Gordon.
back- yeah, it's so weird looking back on those movies because although I did see those movies when I was much younger, when I saw Batman Begins and like up to Dark Knight Rises, like Christopher Nolan like made me like fall in love with like Jim Gordon, and I go back to those movies like, oh my god, what did they do to my boy? My boy!
See, the 66 show as well. Like,
Yeah.
and Gordon is just never given anything
No,
until
he's
like
not.
modern age.
Yeah, that's very true. It's like, oh gosh, darn it, what are we gonna do? The criminals have broken out again. No, call Batman. That'll solve everything.
Yeah,
We can't
I
do
know,
it
right?
ourselves.
Well,
Can't
it's like,
do it.
who are we, the police? Get Batman on the case.
Yeah.
Batman, the Joker has escaped from prison again. Batman's like,
Who are you?
Um,
On
um,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, I definitely agree when it comes to this. I mean, I have a soft spot for the Burton films myself, but yeah, I feel this one compared to Batman and Robin actually has a true message to it.
yeah.
That he's no longer forced to be Batman, which is something that not even DC themselves realize, because they still think he has to do this out of anguish
True.
and grief, when like Batman Forever presents him with a real choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He chooses to be the Batman to save the lives of Gotham, not to just to, I don't know, mope a lot.
Not because I have to be. Now. Because I choose to be.
Exactly. Man.
I like how he pauses like on that now. It's like, not because I have to be. Now.
Because his mouth is
dramatic.
constantly open. He's
Yeah,
just
it's
collecting all the breath.
I mean, it seemed like I'm not. It seems like when they put the bat suits on, like they can't breathe out of their nose.
Yeah,
That's
right?
what-
Like, it's just
Yeah,
like...
because like it's like you said, he has his mouth open all the time. It's like, is he trying to breathe, or is he like doing that thing like Daisy Ridley does, like where she doesn't realize that her mouth is open the entire time?
I do wonder, yeah, because it looks like the suit, like the cowl, just looks like it's... I'm sure there's, like some holes for the nose, but it just looks like it's very hard to breathe in, so he's like... just breathing through his mouth the entire time.
It's like they should, because if they have it to where there's like plastic under there and there's just holes, like that's gonna make it like super uncomfortable. Like just do it like what they
especially
do
for
in the
fighting,
video games,
yeah.
to where it's just like a hood for the nose,
Yeah, exactly. Like the Adam West, the Adam West suit.
because they're gonna be like looking down more on Batman all the time. It's not like it really matters.
Or they're
if
just
you
like really scared that the audience will see Batman's nose hair.
I know- yeah.
That's the problem.
It'd be funny if like they actually like they made fun of that and like probably like the Lego Batman movie, and like they look up his nose. It's like, that nose looks similar to Bruce Wayne's.
Oh my god.
Didn't recognize him by his chin. I recognized him by his nose hair.
You know,
Oh.
speaking of which, like when Ben Affleck became Batman, like what bothered me the most about it was not like the really like the look of it, but like Ben Affleck has a mole like on his like
He
where
does.
near his mouth.
That's
is.
right.
And they don't
He's got
cover
a
it up.
very distinctive face. So.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I recognize that
I
mole
don't-
anywhere.
Yeah, it's like, huh, that looks similar to Bruce Wayne.
Wait a second.
Of all the things to cover up, you choose the nose, not the mole.
Oh, Zach. Man. I've got to say, going back to Batman Forever too, I do like Val Kilmer. Like as a kid, I was like, he's pretty good. But like seeing him more he doesn't like he's the one that doesn't go over the top. He's more reserved, and it really works well for his character in the story they're trying to tell with Bruce, that he's a more reserved person that's it's introspective throughout the movie. So I think his performance really nails that quite well. That some people might feel like, this is emotionless. No, but I think it's intentional. It's on purpose that he acts that way. That it fits the character and the story they're trying to tell. So I appreciated that.
He's also a hypocrite. Because, like, in the movie, like, he's trying to, like, lecture Dick on saying, like, hey, you don't want to kill Two-Face, because if you kill someone, you start doing it more and more and more. Don't kill people. And then what does he do in the end?
Exactly.
Kills Two-Face!
He's like, it's fine for me, but for you, no.
You
Kill Two-Face with his own psychology. It's not murder.
That's true, yeah. He chose to die. He didn't have to go for the coin.
Yeah, see, it's like the mentality that he has in Batman Begins. Like, I won't kill you, but I won't have to save you.
Oh,
Like,
exactly.
This isn't
was he
even
not
that.
saving you from
Like,
catching, falling?
Gravity will kill you. I'm not killing you.
This isn't even the same as that. At least with the air, it's like, okay, it's a bit of a 50-50 chance of like pulling out your grappling hook and saving him. But this, it's like, yeah, you knew Two-Face's psychology. You knew what you were doing, Batman.
Yeah, because he gets a whole bunch of coins when they're all on ledges, and he throws it up, and he's purposely trying to catch his coin, but he can't tell the difference, and then he falls to his death. It's like, what the hell, man? You just murdered him. And what's worse is in the original script, if I'm remembering correctly, Batman was gonna trick him, but like since he's on a ledge, he doesn't catch his coin, like he misses, and then he falls like on his own accord. But in the movie, they decided to just have Batman kill him.
He's like, hey, screw you, Harvey. Here's the coins.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Your performance is annoying. Can I just kill him? He's like, yeah, sure, why not?
Oh, man.
Yeah, all the behind-the-scenes drama, it's all connected.
It is.
It's so like portrait. It sort of rhymes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely agree on the Kilmer angle there that you went there, Christopher, because like if they did just hypothetically go from like Michael Keaton to George Clooney, that would be a major change that really would not have worked and would have ruined the movie entirely.
Well, I mean, even like the universe seems disjointed too, because it's supposed to be the same continuity for all four movies, and from Batman Returns to Forever, the city looks completely different.
It does, just change overnight. And same with Harvey too. Like Harvey was played by Billy D. Williams in the first two, and now it's just Tommy Lee Jones. And so is the Wii there, but
So
poor Billy D.
weird.
Williams.
yeah. That would have been great. At least he got to play Two-Face in the Lego Batman movie. That was cool. But what could have been?
Plus, they're doing Billy D. Williams Two-Face in a Batman '89 comic.
That's true. I am excited for that.
Coming out recently.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
You know, actually, you guys ever heard of Channel Awesome?
Mm,
That's the people that do the Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually listened to this. I thought it was pretty good for the most part, but they do like their own version of like what if Tim Burton directed Batman Forever, and they set up to where the continuity of it is changed from Batman Returns. So in Batman Returns, in their version, the Penguin and Christopher Walken's character are actually brothers.
Oh, Max Shrek.
And
Max
so
Shrek.
Shrek, there you go. There you go.
Shrek.
What are you doing in my swamp?
I'm Shrek. The thing is that since they're brothers, you have like a villain that comes from like wealth, and you have one from like circumstance. But in it, the most important part is that Harvey Dent and Batman work together to take him down. But since Harvey Dent is working with vigilantes, he's corrupt or considered corrupt, and in it, like there's like an explosion that takes out like half his face. And then that's why he becomes Two-Face. And then, so it transitions into Batman Forever, if it was directed by Tim Burton. And then Riddler would be played by Robin Williams, because that was like one of his first choices.
Yeah.
And Billy D. Williams' version is like much more dark and more serious. And like, it sounded really good.
Dang.
Like the concept of it sounded like awesome
Yeah,
for
that's
it.
odd.
And it just seems like such a shame that they would trade that to try to just make it like the '60s show, because Tim Burton was let loose and did whatever the fuck he wanted by having the penguin bite off a guy's nose and have it gush everywhere.
The parents
You know,
hated that,
for
yeah.
kids.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, just
Or have-
It's kind of the trouble. Like, yeah, you still gotta have like kids watch these movies because it makes the primary market for Batman. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're making toys off of this character at McDonald's, you know. I'm like, go right ahead. You know what you're doing. You know what? Go ahead and have Shane Black write some like cat pussy jokes for Catwoman, you know, because that see how it connects? It's funny, you know, for kids.
Exactly.
A family picture.
Oh.
and also definitely defend. Yeah, I can't. Ampy Riddler. It comes with the material. He's a
Yeah.
showman.
Yeah.
And very charismatic, and I don't know. It just feels very dead without a classic riddle me this sort of vibe with him.
Exactly, yeah. And his obsession with Bruce Wayne is really interesting too, exploring that, just like how he's very obsessed, and then his heart gets broken, and he's like, all right, screw Bruce Wayne. I'm targeting him now.
Yep. So it's kind of funny how his entire war against Bruce Wayne is literally only because he received a bat signal DM.
Yeah, he's like, oh, crap, sorry, I gotta go, bye.
You know, that bothered me in the movie, is that it's his motivation, because I wasn't sure if he wanted to get back at Bruce Wayne because he rejected his idea, because he goes after Batman, almost immediately after like he sends a riddle to Bruce Wayne, but I don't know. I can't tell as the audience, like, does he know? Did he figure out that Bruce Wayne was Batman? Because it seems like he figures it out like when Bruce Wayne goes into his machine.
Yeah.
But in it, like, he almost instantly goes to Two-Face. He's like, okay, we're gonna go take down Batman. Like, is he just using Two-Face for his resources so he can get even with Bruce Wayne and show him that his machine works? I can't really tell. But
yeah.
but overall, like you
Just
said, I think
raises too many questions.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Oh my god.
You were supposed to understand. I'll make you understand. But yeah,
Oh, what
I
a
think you would raise a really good point with Jim Carrey's Riddler, because it seems like he was like perfect for what Joel Schumacher was going for.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good casting there.
Mm-hmm. Except for Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But yeah, I completely agree with you on Christopher, on your side. This movie specifically, I mean, I was joking when I said you had to only talk about this version of Batman, but I didn't think you actually just talk about that movie itself.
Yeah, that's the one.
But I completely agree. Like, with this movie actually trying to change Batman, have him actually like grow as a person. This one actually seems like it's actually trying to humanize Bruce Wayne. I'm not saying that the Christopher Nolan ones aren't, but this one actually seems like he's actually like coming to terms with being both Bruce Wayne and Batman and kind of making them as one.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it kind of felt like in the Nolan ones, like he was always Batman.
Exactly, like Bruce
even-
Wayne died the night that his parents died. Now all that's left is Batman.
Yeah, which I like, but it doesn't really like humanize him as much, except like I would say probably like in Batman Begins and mostly The Dark Knight Rises, when they attempt to have Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Robin, Blake's character, ask him questions about being Batman, and are like, why is he doing this? Like, how is he like still like with just being Batman? But I don't think they dive deep enough in those movies to where like you actually really understand why he's still continuing to be Batman. And this one, he like in Forever, it definitely seems like he's really come to terms with it. Like he realizes who he is, and he still, like you said, chooses to be this way. Why he chooses to be this way.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Despite the sort of the silly and fun exterior, it does have that depth to it too. That it asks the questions of, you know, to Batman, like, why is he doing this, and does he have to do this, and, you know, different things like that. I think is really important and handled pretty well, actually. You know, the deleted scenes do add more to that, which I think was great. But what remains is still good.
It's such a shame because I took a look at those. It's like I was told it's like they had a big bat animatronic. Like, what? What's that for? But like then it's like it's supposed to be a metaphor for literally separating the bat and the man to where they become Batman.
Exactly. Yeah.
Batman.
Oh yes. Well, that's all I've got.
Who is Batman?
Yeah, that's all I've got. But yeah, Batman Forever. That I think, you know, I can see where people are coming from. But I always love it though. I think it's great. It has more that meets the eye.
Especially with its hit song "Rose on a Grave."
Oh, of course.
Seal.
Classic.
I mean, every time I think about losing my virginity, I always want to think about Batman.
Exactly.
And a big black buff man who's like has a shirt on, but you see his abs, singing about loving, and then Batman kind of just is in the background. I actually want to see it animated. I want to see somebody animate that, like where Seal is singing, and then Batman is actually in the background, just like hopping on rooftops, and like it is like completely the opposite of like what he's singing about. Like,
yes.
He's getting bloody. He's like twisting arms and breaking legs or stuff like that. And then Seal's like, "Did you know that when it snows, my eyes become blood?"
Oh god,
it would be like that Shark Week commercial when it's like when the shark comes up and eats him. He's like, "It's a bad week to be a seal."
Oh.
Well, I guess that just about does it. We actually didn't go the full 3 minutes, but I'm glad you got to have your say.
Yes, thank you.
So if today's takeaway is learn more about Spawn, Morpheus, and Batman, specifically Val Kilmer. Nothing
you know
else.
enough about all the other Batman.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't know about this one, I guess.
Exactly.
So yeah, thank you very much for listening and checking out our very first break. I was gonna say break day. It's not a break. It's a cheat day. Okay, just embrace it. Okay, own it. Like Dexter says, own it. Own that you cheat on the things that you love. But yeah. Thanks once again. I am the Funny Hatter.
Victor person.
And I'm
Victor person. And he is the Christopher, the only Christopher.
The only one.
Everybody else is gonna get shot if they're named Christopher.
It's like last week with Katie, where Hawkeye, where he's going around killing all the Katies.
Are you Katie? Yeah. But yep, that'll just about do it. Check us out next week. I don't know what the subject's going to be next week. Gee, we'll figure that out, and I guess you'll just figure out along with us much later. So
it will be.
Yeah, just too many questions. So I guess that's a bye.
Bye.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Yes.
Same bad time, same bad channel. And Kevin Smith is going to come after us, but he's probably going to whine about it. And cry about it. Okay, bye.
Bye.
There used to be a graying tower alone on the sea. You became the light on the dark side of me. Love remains a drug that's the high and not the pill. But did you know it snows, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can't be seen.